Hi everybody, it's Miss Karis, and I have another video for you today. This one is going to talk about what are your goals for this season coming up. It's the end of July, and a lot of us start going back to dance in August. And the first thing that I'm going to say to my students are, what are your goals this year? Every single year, you guys should have goals, okay? So we're going to talk about them. What kinds of goals and what are reasonable goals and unreasonable goals? Okay, so first of all, why? Why should we have goals, right? Why the heck do we need goals? Well, because if you're someone that wants to actually progress at this and get better at this, you need to set little milestones, little achievements that you can reach throughout the year that's going to make you feel good about yourself and help you recognize your hard work and your dedication if you've been putting in the hard work and the dedication, okay? Having small, reasonable goals that you can achieve, maybe like a new one each month. You can have big goals and you can have short goals, but it's going to make you feel good about yourself. Doesn't matter how big or small they are, right? And you don't have to tell everybody about your goals. They're your personal goals. And unless you need help achieving them, you can keep them to yourself. But they really go a long way in making you feel good about yourself and looking at yourself and paying attention to the fact that you are getting better in different ways. Okay. So let's talk about what a reasonable goal might be versus an unreasonable goal. So let's say that you are a student in ballet and you are maybe at a beginner, intermediate, maybe beginner level. Let's say you're starting to work on pirouettes. Okay, maybe you've been taking ballet for a couple of years. You're starting to work on pirouettes, but you're brand new to them. And you see your demonstrator, you're the assistant in your room, and she's doing triples. Okay. And so the teacher says, one day you will look like this. And the assistant does a triple pirouette flawlessly. And you go, okay. So to be able to do a triple pirouette is a good goal when you think you will be able to achieve that goal is a lot of the time, whether it becomes reasonable or unreasonable. So the amount of time that you're giving yourself is a big deal, and what the thing is. So if you're just barely learning how to do a pirouette, your goal should not be to be doing flawless triple pirouette by the end of the year. That doesn't make sense. It's too much. unless you happen to be an excellent turner. And as you start working on your pirouette, you will find out. But still, I wouldn't go for a triple, right? I would say by the end of this year, I would like to have mastered a single, mastered, I know I keep repeating that. It's like, is she insane? Is she going crazy? No, although sometimes I feel like I am, right? You have to master your stuff before you move on to the next level. So don't say, I'm going to master a triple pirouette if you've never been doing pirouettes. That's an unreasonable goal in this amount of time. And the jump from just learning how to do a pirouette to mastering a triple, that's huge. That's too big of a jump. Small jump. Do you guys ever see, I love this, I should have had this for this video, it's, like a ladder, and typically with ladders, it's like, you have a rung and 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 a rung, right? And they're close together so that you can easily climb the ladder. And then they show another picture of a ladder, and it's like you have like a rung here, and then a rung here, and then a run here, right? And so the steps are really difficult to climb. Your goals are too far apart. You can't get there, okay? It's too big of a jump, right? To get kind of a visual here. So set goals for yourself, but set reasonable goals for yourself, right? Now, let's talk about physical goals and emotional goals because they go together. So let's say one of my goals is that I really want to get straighter legs in my soda shop, my leap, Okay. I really want to make sure that I have straight legs on that soda shot. Okay. That's a goal that I'm going to work physically on my body. But what's an emotional goal that I can work on? Well, maybe let's say that I have a really difficult time with messing up. And I'm going to say this one because this was something that I did growing up. I didn't like making mistakes. It was very hard on myself, very hard on myself. I like to do things perfect as I could. So now that is not the healthiest mental state to be in, to have, right? Because we're not perfect. We're not robots. I mean, it's good to have goals to try and, get all the movements as perfect as you can. But, we don't want to put too much pressure on ourselves because we are human. So maybe an emotional goal for myself is that I'm going to stop allowing myself to say negative things to myself when I do make a mistake, right? So you make a mistake and immediately, you idiot, why did you do that? Or whatever things that you say in your head or whatever, things come up in your head. Your goal is to stop that and to flip it and say, well, okay, now I know I can't do it that way. Let's try a different way, right? That would be an emotional goal. Maybe an emotional goal is I am terrified at going on stage. I have stage fright. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on being less afraid. I'm going to work on my anxiety, right? Because making sure that we are emotionally and mentally stable is just as more important than whatever physical stuff that we want to do, right? If I'm having a really, really, really off day, if you've been doing leaps, if you're a professional, and you've been training for years and your body sometimes just does stuff, you don't think about it anymore. Your body just does things. Okay, you can have a bad day and your body will probably do what you want it to do when you're at that level. But, getting there, until you get there, you got to make sure that you are emotionally stable as well as physically stable. So goals for yourself. Okay. So what can you say in order to get your goals to the next level? What can you say is, it is not okay for me to mess up this anymore. It is not okay for me to forget this. So what is there something that you have been working on? Let's say that you are working on a really good high batma. You've been working on this batma for years. You've been dancing for a while. You've been working on this thing. And it's just, you're always struggling at a certain point. What I say to my students sometimes is tell myself, it is never okay for me to have a bent leg in a batma. Not okay. Ever. For any reason. Nope, can't do it. So every time you lift that front leg off of the floor, that knee is straight every single time. That might mean that we have to lower the height of the leg a little bit, but it's never okay for me to have a bent knee. Ever. It's unacceptable, right? Maybe you've been working on chaîné turns for a while, okay? You know it, you've been doing it, but, maybe we're getting lazy. Maybe we think like we're pulling up and maybe, we think that we're doing it. Are our teachers telling us that we're doing it? Or are our teachers telling us that we need to pull up more and have maybe straighter knees and maybe we're not really thinking about it or we're being lazy about it? So look in the mirror, be honest with yourself and say, yep, bent knees, that's ridiculous. I've been working on my chaîné turns for, 4 or 5 years now, whatever it is, right? Enough is enough. No more bent knees. It's never okay to do that. So boom, you're locked. You're lifted every single time. Enough is enough. You have to find those places in your classes, those steps, those moments where you're like, I have been working on this for so long and it's not working and I want to nail this. So enough is enough. It is no longer acceptable for me to blah, blah, blah. Fill in the blank. Figure it out what that means to you. Okay? So set goals, set reasonable goals. Set physical and emotional goals and find things in your life that you are ready to master, that you should be mastering so that you can go on to the next level, so that you can reach those goals better. All right? Think about those things. I bet you they will work. Try them. Let me know. And hope you guys like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.